And now we're going to move on to the Wild West levels. And I think the Wild West levels are okay, I guess. Now, first we'll move on to the Prospector Zombie. Now, the Prospector Zombie is not so dangerous. It really is not that dangerous. Probably will affect your economy because it launches all the way and then eats your sunflowers. But in general, this guy will be able to shut it down pretty easily. If you're, and here's another thing. Like say, okay, let's remove this, and then we'll draw this again. So let's say this is your playing field. You have 5 lanes here. Now here's your here's the last lane where you place all your sunflowers. Now if ever Prospector Zombie comes in early on, like say the second wave after the first normal zombie gets killed off, if he like pops up here and you don't have a sunflower ready yet here, you can just, let him fly and then just let him walk all the way. It's not really gonna do anything. Yeah, so you can just save. You don't really have to waste your time. He's not gonna. There's nothing for him to attack, and just go about your day as normal. And Prospector zombies in general are very weak. They'll take 10 shots, 10 pea shooter shots before it dies. So it's not gonna end well for them at all. So yeah, that's mainly what I wanted to say. 10 shots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And when he flies, he lands, takes another piece of damage, and then the repeater hit would just finish him off. But when the main danger is if like there's a lot of prospector zombies stacked together, one single split pea won't be able to cut it. Maybe you need 2. A good way to neutralize prospector zombies early on is, as I said, use a filter. In this case, it will be the spike weed, since it will spike on the first 2 columns that it walks on, and it will usually, if you have 2 columns in the first 2 front columns with spike weed, they will generally die very easily. Or you can try and diffuse their dynamite fuse by using chilling plants like wintermelon. That will help out later on in later waves. Or you could use snow pea, or you could use iceberg lettuce, but that isn't really all that necessary, really. So, yep. Moving on, let's talk about the pianist zombie. Now, the pianist zombie is a very interesting character. As you know, it's a rolling type zombie, so the spike we can generally take care of it pretty easily. There's a bug going on where when the pianist zombie rolls over a chili bean, it stops, turns green, the pianist farts, and then the whole piano gets destroyed, which is pretty funny actually. But in general, the main danger it comes in is like supposed to say that you have your lawnmowers here, right? Your lawnmowers at the back. Let's say this lane gets overrun, and the lawnmower just takes it back. Then all of a sudden, there's a pianist zombie rolling around here, and the zombies start dancing haphazardly, and then they start dancing onto the lane where the lawnmower has already been triggered. And then when you destroy a pianist zombie, you don't really have a defense set up here, and then the zombies can just waltz over right here and go right here. That's where the problem will start. That's where the main problem will be. If that were to happen, that would be quite disastrous, actually. So yeah. So that's the main thing about the pianist zombie here. So the pianist zombie is good to take it out early as possible. The spike weight will be able to take care of it pretty easily. If you stun it, like say it gets affected by farts or it gets stunned by butter, it will also stop playing and the zombies will stop dancing for a while. Fun fact. But in general, it's, yeah, just use spikeweed, or you can just try to slow it down with wintermelon, or just deal as heck amounts of damage to just kill it like that. Also, I would like to say the Pharaoh zombie. If you remember the kernel pult shoots butter, but since the Pharaoh zombie is inside the sarcophagus, the butter won't affect it at all. Really, it won't really stun it. It will just keep on walking. Just to remind you. Of course, it's good against seagull zombies since the butter immediately kills the stuns the seagull, and then the whole thing drops. So yeah, but not very not always very reliable. Just remember that. And okay, it will also stun prospector zombies and the fuse itself. Fun fact. And Colonel Pult is also good against explorer zombies to some extent, but it would be better to pair it up with the cabbage pult as well. It needs backup. It's a support plant, but Colonel Pult is a support plant, so it needs damage dealing plants to support it, like the cabbage pult. Okay, let's move on. Poncho zombie. Now, Poncho zombie, you treat it like any other bucket wearing zombie, I guess. Since you have absolutely no idea what's behind the poncho. Here's a funny thing about the poncho zombie. Let's see whether they stated it here. It doesn't state anything. Okay. So the poncho has a chance where the zombies grate may have the zombies poncho may have a metal grate which protects it against harsh damage, or it doesn't, which makes him about as weak as this. In general, a good way to shut down the poncho zombie is to use the chili bean. Uh, but here's the thing, a funny thing about poncho zombies. If the poncho does not get removed when it gets hit by a coconut cannon, the zombie will die irrespective of whether or not he had the grave or not, if his poncho is still on it, which is quite funny. So you can exploit this weakness versus the poncho zombie with the coconut cannon, I guess. But in general, chili beans is able to shut it down pretty easily. And let me see. Wintermelons can also shut it down pretty easily, but it reveals the poncho. Not like the coconut cannon, which just causes everything to just die. Bong Choy is, yeah, just treat the poncho zombie like you would the buckethead zombie. Buckethead zombie. So yeah, that's all I had to say. And excusez-moi, use chili beans versus poncho zombies, especially if they are sent in quite early. Don't take the risk. Don't take the risk. Just go with the chili bean. All right. And now we move on to what I think is the most frustrating zombie to take care of, the chicken wrangler zombie. And the chicken wrangler zombie is a bit. If you remember what I said about like the lawnmowers here, right? And then if the lawnmower gets used up, there's supposed to be no zombies for like 10-20 seconds. But then the chicken wrangler zombie decides to pop up here. And then when the barbed wire pops, all the chickens will fly through here and right into your base, and then it will count as game over. For some reason, I don't know why chicken zombies God damn it! Why they have to make chicken zombies a legit enemy that will eat your brains out? Why do they have to make it a zombie? Why can't they just like, oh, you know, we're gonna run through here, but we're not gonna count as game over. We're gonna trigger your lawnmower, sure. We're gonna eat your plants, sure, but why can't they just do this? Why do chickens have to be considered as a game over sort of enemy? Why? Tell me why. Hotcat, why you do this? Why you do this? Why you do this? Okay. But as you know, chickens very weak. Shuts down but gets shut down by lightning reed. But lightning reed is better off replaced with one column of spikeweeds or snapdragons or bok choys. And better plan. Once you have the momentum up, you can just replace the lightning reed. And remember not to use a one-hit KO plan on it, because even though you like the squash could kill the chicken wrangler zombie, but then the chickens will probably fly out after that anyway. Just to let you know. So this is one of the more dangerous enemies to face early on. And yeah. I would think that the two most dangerous zombies to face in Plants vs Zombies 2 would be, one is the chicken wrangler zombie, and the next one would be the barrel roller zombie and the seagull zombie, and the explorer zombie, of course. So these four are generally the more annoying ones. Pharaoh zombie to some extent because it has a shell which blocks one hit KO damage. So yeah, that's how you counter it. The zombie bull and the imp that rides the bull. Now in general. Okay, let's say that let's do this again. If the bull comes in and the bull meets up with any sort of plant, it will take a few steps back and then launch the imp over. Now, if he does not see any plants in his way, he's just gonna charge right in and all the way into your defenses. Especially if you have the lawnmower complete absent here. So always make sure to remember to put a plant right in front of the bull so it stops charging as close as possible. Spike weeds don't count. Spike weeds are not gonna affect the zombie bull in any way. They're just gonna go straight in and meet up with the first plant it sees. The squash can easily take it out before it can fling the imp, and that will be considered as the imp dying. Jalapeno can take care of it. Snow Pea can it meets up anything which is above of normal height, like the spike rocks. It just ignores it. Iceberg lettuce won't ignore. It will ignore it as well, but it will probably get frozen. So anything other than these two, this, and this, if it meets up, it's gonna stop and then backtrack, and then it's gonna fling the imp over. A good way to try and stop the zombie bull, since he moves pretty slowly, is that you can put spikeweed, bok choy with the walnut, and when the imp gets flung over, it will just land right behind the bok choy. The bok choy will just punch the imp from behind, and whatever is gonna meet up. So in general, is not as dangerous as compared to like the imps being thrown with Gargantua, which gets thrown so far deep into your defenses. At least this one, it doesn't get flung too far. Of course, you could use the tall nut, but that isn't too necessary, as I already said before. Walnut should be sufficient, especially since you already have the bok choy to take care of the imp. Who knew? And finally, we have the treasure yeti. Now, I need to warn you about this because sometimes the treasure yeti will come in. Okay, let's say. Okay, let's say this is the last row, right? And let's pretend that this is the first row. Right? The other columns are right here. Sorry, this first column. If you plant a spike weed here, and the Yeti zombie comes in, if he sees this thing here, he's just gonna immediately backtrack out of there. So he's just gonna go in. Oh, spikes. Okay, better back up. When you are up against a Yeti zombie encounter, do not plant any plants in the first lane, in the first column. Sorry, so that he will. And if he does not ever see a plant in the first column, he will just walk to like the third column and then start slowly walking back. It will buy you time. So never plant anything in the first column, then it buys you more time to actually for your plants to deal damage. Best suggested to use plant food on it, but on a plant to try and take out the Yeti zombie. But that's about it. And remember that Yetis do not appear in challenge levels. Who knew? So yeah.